Hey guys, it's SF and welcome to week number 6 of the Monster Strike podcast. And a lot of stuff has happened throughout NA and throughout JP. Well, NA, I did talk about it last week and it was the Winterstruck Summer. But for me personally, a lot of things happened. Especially, I started streaming. My first official stream was Marie Antoinette. That was last week. But my first my first stream that I really got into like the getting with the fan, like kind of like getting with the actual basis of actually streaming is this week with PCG3 on JP and then Origa on NA for this week. Sorry that my mic was a little bit wonky there because I didn't have my good mic that I'm using right now on this podcast, but hopefully in the future streams I'll be using the better mic and stuff like that. So I hope you guys like those, and of course they are archived, so you can just watch me just die a lot or do some crazy plays and stuff like that. But I do want to talk about the streams a little bit. But PCG3, basically I did max luck him afterwards, the session afterwards, and I didn't get a Hakua like extra stage. That was really sad, but hopefully in the future she'll give you the extra stage will be added onto newer dungeons and stuff like that, or maybe added onto the older dungeons, because right now it's only PCG3 and Satellite that you can actually see Hakua and beat her and stuff like that. But a lot of people, I really like the streaming thing because a lot of people just start asking me questions, which I try to answer as the best of my ability, because I don't really know what you guys personally ask about, like want to know about, because I'm just kind of, when I do my videos I just guess of what you guys want to know about and stuff like that. But streaming gives me more involved with you guys, what you want, and of course do some runs with you guys through line and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to do Twitch stuff, but because there is a giant like time lag between what you see and then what's actually happening in real life. But for now I'll be sticking to YouTube, and then just keep on checking. I'll probably do at least once a week, and my next one's gonna be Sunday. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I do want to talk about Oruga. You saw me being basically throwing orbs at her, and I did max luck her afterwards as well. It took a little bit longer than I needed to, but to be honest, that stream, that section was probably my best session out of all the other ones that I did run Oruga, in terms of drop rates and no continues. I did continue near the end of the session in during the stream, but before that I did get some good no continues if I remember correctly, and that was one of my best ones. And I guess I'm really good at the actual, when I'm actually like doing the stream and stuff. But it is kind of hard for me because I have to concentrate talking to you guys, engaging on you guys, and as well playing at the same time. But when I was running Oruga, I didn't really pay attention to the actual game, and then I just died through like really random attacks because I didn't pay attention and just like shoot randomly instead of actually looking at what attack she has up next and stuff like that. But a lot of you watched even afterwards, because I guess a lot of people want to know how I play against Oruga, because a lot of people are having trouble with Oruga in terms of the dungeon herself. I will have a video of her up probably after probably before this podcast even goes up, but so you'll probably see it before you hear this podcast. So that's how usually I will play if I just solo with one max luck, because when I play with max luck monsters and like farming for max luck, I use 2 max luck monsters, and usually that doesn't become really stable, especially for harder dungeons like Oruga. And stuff like Butterfly or like Death's Call is pretty easy with 2 max luck monsters, but Oruga, it is very hard with max luck monsters, because most max luck monsters don't have enough firepower, don't have enough DPS to actually deal damage to the boss, and you have to rely on your other slots for the DPS. And usually you need that one specific monster just to do that, and I don't really have all the monsters out there, so it was kind of hard. I did of course you saw me like just die really randomly, or just die out of me doing really bad. And I guess that's kind of different for you guys. I guess it's more entertaining for you guys because I usually put out like runs that actually win against, like win on. So see a little side of me and see how I usually play, and see how I usually like think about my shots and stuff like that, although I didn't really think when I was farming. But later on Sunday I will be having a giant stream. It won't be continuous, but I will have 2 blocks, one for JP and one for NA. Mostly it's me playing with you guys, getting you guys engaged, and I know a lot of people on Facebook wants to join line groups, meet new strikers, and or just to have some help, or to help out other strikers as well. And I did put up a little vote on the Facebook group that I'm in, that I'm moderating. So if you guys are already there, then you probably have seen it, but if you guys don't, then basically I'm asking about 2 specific dungeons each, 2 specific time blocks each onto NA or JP. So JP, it is either Vendetta or like Muramasa, and then NA there's 2 blocks of 2 different monsters. So first block is Kushinada and Vanilla, and then the second block is Oruga and Kabushiro. So right now it is, in terms of leading the vote, is JP is Muramasa. Kind of obvious, I kind of expected that, but it is early in the morning in North America, so you guys might have to wake up early, because if you guys are living in the East Coast, it starts at like 8 a.m. East Coast and then 5 a.m. Pacific time. So might have to wake up early if you guys want to actually get into the runs and stuff like that. And then in NA, Kushinada is leading, because a lot of people want to get their first Kushinada, or get some Kushinadas just to luck or something. But I do want to tell you guys that for this stream, the main purpose is to have fun, and it is to meet new strikers. It's not about max lucking. It's not about farming or get material, or well, I guess like you get materials, but of course you want to win. But it's more about having fun with Monster Strike, and want you to actually have fun playing the game instead of thinking it as a chore to become better at the game. It's just a little bit, just take some time, relax, have fun, instead of, oh my god, I need to get this material, I need to get Kushinada, I need to get Dark Muramasa. I want you guys to like don't have that attitude when you're actually in playing with other strikers and during this stream time. If you do have that mentality going in, then it'll become really bad, because I don't really care who actually joins in, as long as they have a relatively okay monster that works with the dungeon. Even if it's not the best, as long as it works, as long as it deals with the gimmicks, I'm fine with it. Even if we lose, that's okay. I'm willing to host and stuff like that. Of course, I am going to make a line group for everybody during that stream, for a temporary line group. Everybody's going to get the link. Everybody can get in. Just click on the link. You're in the group, and then just host or join games. Basically, that's how that stream is going to work. Of course, I won't be the only one hosting. Of course, you guys can host as well. Host any dungeon. It doesn't have to be the descend dungeons right now. It could be the daily dungeons, striker bonuses, turtles, whatever. As long as you guys play, that's all I really care about, and I'll try to play with as many strikers as I can. I won't be just farming Muramasa during Muramasa time. I might jump over to like a Temple of Heroes run, or like a Divine Shard run. I think turtle runs, depending on the time, there is a daily turtles are at that time, and it's extreme, so a lot of people might be hosting that and stuff. and some stuff like that. So it's just there to have fun. Even if we lose, don't be really bad. Don't be really mad at people. But I do really recommend you guys, especially beginners, to at least have one 6-star monster or some 5-star monster on the lines of Dear Lota or Chandra, just so that you can, just so it's common courtesy. Although I know a lot of you just started like a few days ago, it might be really hard, but even if you can't get into this stream, like in terms of runs on this group, then just try your best to get ready for the next stream. I'll probably be streaming once a week, so you'll have time. You have a chance to be in games as well. Just have one good, like one solid 6-star monster that is at max level. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't have to be max plus or anything, as long as it deals with gimmicks. So for probably it's going to be Kushinada and Muramasa. So Muramasa is only no gravity barrier, so just stick with no gravity barrier monsters. Or if you are beginning and just beginner and then just trying to just want to get into runs and stuff like that, as well as Kushinada, just stick with no warp characters, fire no warp characters. That's going to be fine. I'm pretty sure there'll be people there that will help carry you, and I'll be there as well just to carry as well. And I will be chatting on the line group as well, because there is a time lag, so and stuff like that. Just have fun as well, meet new strikers, and of course meet new friends to add on to your existing line groups as well. Because that group, I'm just gonna leave it there in the air, and once the stream's over, I'll probably be out of it. I won't be looking after it. So just get to your just add friends that you think that you really click with, and then add them onto your existing group and stuff like that. So that's what my plan is for the stream, and of course my expectations for the stream, what I expect from you, what I expect from me, and what I expect from like viewers as well. So just be fine, just be kind, just have fun with the game. That's all I really want from you guys for the line group and stuff like that. I'll try to be as helpful as I can to get especially beginners to get into games as well, even though that you might not be able to get into like the extreme runs like Kushinada or like Muramasa. At least you'll get into games for like Turtles, or at least your striker bonuses done, or get divine shards and stuff, or try to get divine shards and stuff like that. And if you guys don't know what line is, then I'll probably be starting the stream before that, and then just join before the thing starts, and then I'll show you download links. I'll probably put like a download link onto the description when the stream starts, and then you guys can get into the games. Of course, there's going to be the line group link onto the description bar, and the QR code will be plastered on the actual screen that you're watching. So that's basically it, and I'll probably be rolling on JP during that stream. NA I probably won't. NA I'll just probably be just like spamming Kushinada for you guys, or the Vidron Dream Shard farming and stuff like that. So that's basically it for streaming. The next thing I really want to talk about is, of course, the Winterstruck Summer Oruga. I did max luck her, as I said. It was pretty hard. It was pretty rough. I did max luck the Ascended version. I will be using her more frequently from now on, just because I want to get better at the monster, especially with a very fast gauge, because that monster is for really, really advanced players, and I do want to become better at the game. Is what I really want from the game. I don't really want to like just beat every single dungeon, and frankly, I actually did beat every single dungeon, even in JP, besides Hakua. But Hakua, I just need a chance to actually play her, so to actually beat her. So beating dungeons is not what I really care about in the game. It's more about become good at the game, which is totally two different things. And I think using Ascend Oruga as my max luck monster more often, instead of like Queen Butterfly or any other no gravity variant monster, will really help me out. And my goal is to just hit of course hit every single of her gauge shots, and of course hit it at a very fast rate, especially when there's time dungeons, when you're doing like farming, when you want to really go fast on your shots, as well as there will be time temple of heroes dungeons, which will be really helpful as well. And then in terms of the dream hatcher, I will be rolling 100 dream shards. I haven't rolled it yet. I will be rolling very soon, and the video will probably be up before you actually listen to this podcast probably. And the rates from what I've seen are not that bad. I did roll a few beforehand, and I did get a couple of Santa Zeuses as Santa Clauses and stuff like that. Santa Claus is not really a good monster to keep. If you want to keep it as a trophy, then by all means do so. Uses not that much, and not really worth to farm all those dream shards to max luck it. Although it is kind of free, it might take a lot of farming and dream shards. And if you haven't started farming those dream shards, then you might be a little bit too late, because the event does end in a couple of days, and you'll probably take at least 1,000 in my opinion just to get to a max luck Santa Claus. But it is very good for turtles. There's max P's and Morley X's, and of course 4-star monster drops as well. And I hope to see some Santa Zeuses on my friend list so I can use them and stuff like that. And then Oruga, I did make 2 of them. I did make the Evolve form and the Ascend form, and then max luck my Ascend form as well. And then Videron, I didn't do much about him. I didn't really luck 90 him. I did fuse all my froggies together in case of the exchange function coming in very soon. I'm not very sure about that, but if you fuse them, and then if it's a luck 70, then what it is in JP, it's equals to a 5 max P's or 8 Morning X's, and it has to be the same color or the same type. But so it's kind of like a free freebie in terms of exchange. So, and it is very easy, and if you're farming with friends or like going into runs that need help with max luck monsters, then it's very easy to get to luck 70. It really depends on what you want in terms of either dream shards or the froggy or even the winter labyrinth tickets. I did play some with you guys during the stream, and for me, I didn't really care much about it if I lose, because I didn't really need to get those monsters. I'm not really max lucking them or whatever, but it is a very good dungeon for you guys to get those ascend materials if you guys need them. Although there is not all the extreme bosses are there. Like there's stuff like Typhoon's not there, Tokugawa and Yoshinobu's not there, Okuta Soji is there, I think, but like there's some that are not there. So, but it costs 1 stamp, and it does help you fill up affinity and stuff like that as well. And then another new thing, of course, version 4 came out, and the new Jester normal dungeon tier has been out, and it's very good. And of course, they put in double drops onto those dungeons as well. Before, it wasn't even on like the Tread Lightly series, so adding half stamina and double drops on them is very helpful. And in terms of the drops itself, it's very high rates, especially in double drop for the boss. When you defeat the boss, it will drop the X version of whatever dungeon it is. So if it's fire, they will drop a Morling attack X, and etc. The gimmicks are not that bad. It is kind of annoying because of the revive, but it's not that difficult. Even if you run with max luck monsters, as long as you have the monsters with like that deals with the gimmicks, which is mainly gravity barriers. But once you hit light and dark, it does have damage walls as well. But my opinion is to just farm either attack, like fire, water, wood for those 3 specific ones, because light and dark just kind of mixes all together. And if you're not looking for a variety of, if you're just looking for one kind of plus, then I would recommend water, fire, and wood. And even if it's not double drop, I still recommend you to farm whatever plus you want. So even if it's Wednesday and double drops on speed. If you need attack, then go farm the Fire Jester, because there is a bonus stage before every single boss that will have a stage just with Morning X's, and it is 100% drop on all three, or all two, or all one, depending on what section, what tier, like what dungeon it is, depending on the first, second, or third one on that Fire Jester tier section. So it is 100% drop, and it's really good, and it is bonus. I don't really know the percentages, but it is relatively okay, like 30-40%, I guess, but it's just me just guessing. And it's very good for pluses. If you don't have any stamina, no place to burn stamina, then go for the Fire Jester or the Water Jester or the Wood Jester. It's very good and stuff like that. But NA, there's not much going on. Next week will probably be a lot better in my opinion. July will probably bring a lot of new stuff, a lot of fun stuff, and I am taking a little bit of a rest from NA just after Oruga. It kind of burnt me out a little bit, so that's why my Sunday stream will just be me chilling, playing Monster Strike for fun, not really farming, not really like being hardcore, being like my hardcore mode. So just play with the game for Monster Strike for the next weekend, and hopefully next week we'll bring the NA style will bring something really new. And once that gets, if there's anything really new, then I have to be in hardcore mode again, and of course doing tutorials and stuff like that for you guys as well. And speaking of tutorials, thank you for like the NA Monster Strike staff to actually feature one of my blog posts onto their official fan page or their official page, and it was very nice of them. And that page got a lot of views compared to my other ones. It's at like 2,500 comparing to like my next highest, which is like 600. So hopefully when new stuff comes out, I'll be doing blog posts about it, or do videos about it, and then hopefully they feature it again. Hopefully they notice me. I do, like I said on my Oruga stream, I kind of know Pete. I do talk to him on a regular basis, but I don't really ask for like specific things. Because I don't think it's really polite, and I do want to keep like a really good relationship with the NA staff and with the channel, what I'm doing as well. So kind of keep a really good relationship. I don't really ask them about too much. I just chat about really random stuff, like IRL stuff, or like just really random Monster Strike stuff. Show them like kind of like, as I did show Pete some Monster Strike fan art that I found on Twitter, which was really good. The artist was really talented. So, and he said he'll probably feature it if he got the permission, I think, or sometime down the road. So hopefully he'll put it up on the Facebook page and then show it to you guys. I really love that artist. Like the things that the artist incorporates into his artwork is really fun, and it is very funny at the same time. It's good and it's funny, and it doesn't leave any monsters out as well. So look forward to that. Hopefully he'll feature it very soon, because he does feature a lot of fan art there. And this guy, the Twitter account that I found for the artwork is really good as well. So hopefully you will be able to see it very soon, and hopefully Enu will be picking up again. And then because next in chronological order is like Tsukuyomi, Urie, Murasame, and those stuff, and it is going to get really hard. If you think Oruga is easy, then Murasame, and I guess Murasame farming is the next like big farming thing. Murasame is going to be really hard, like I said, and it's going to require a lot more than just farming Vidorons for like the whole day. It's worse than farming Vidorons. It's worse than farming Orugas in my opinion. But the dungeon is relatively easy. It's easier than Oruga, but getting the right drops is going to be really hard, and it's going to be really painful. And I did joke about, and then Pete joked about me saying I should max luck Murasame, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll max luck Dark Murasame. And then like, no, you're gonna max luck like Murasame. And I was like, and then I joked back about him, and it's like, okay, sure, just give me 20 light tickets, because they really don't drop in those dungeons. Like, I've seen a lot of horror stories in JP where people max luck Dark Murasame before they even got a light Murasame ticket. They can go a full 3-hour run and just get 0 tickets to drop. Like in terms of Dark Murasame, even with running max luck monsters. So just be prepared, guys. It's going to be rough, especially for the beginners, but it's going to be okay. We're gonna make it through. I'll probably do a stream where I'm gonna help you guys run it after I get like a light Murasame or something like that, and hopefully we'll all get a light Murasame at the end once that hits NA. But that's it for the NA scene, and after the BGM break, we'll go into JP. And we're back, and JP scene. And first off, we're gonna start off with the new Ascensions that hit JP: Oda Nobunaga X, Apollo X. I did touch a bit on them on last week's podcast, but I didn't get the full details. Now we do, and we got them actually ascended. We can actually ascend them and stuff like that, and I'll be talking a little bit about them. I did put up a blog post. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll link it down to the description bar. But most improved monster out of all 4 is, for me, is of course Apollo. When she was in the beginning, she was only there for dealing with the gimmick. She's not really there for attack, for like DPS. She wasn't a really good support. She's just there as a filler if you don't have a good fire, no damage wall monster, or even a no damage wall monster in the first place. So a lot of people just kind of left her in the box, and then when you rolled her, you don't really level her up, you don't really evolve her. I did evolve her on my NA account because why not? And during that time, I didn't really have anything to put in Turtles on or Mornings on, so I was very good. I was very happy with the changes in JP. Now she becomes a lot better, and of course most improved. So what she is, she becomes a pierce monster instead of a bounce. Her abilities are No Gravity Bear and Gauge of Minesweeper. Very high stats. Strike Shot is showing a weakness strike shot, so like a Merlin. And then Bump Combo is Energy Circle M, and then Poison Spread Shot 8 I think, or 6 or something, I forgot. But a Poison Spread Shot, which is really, really good for Scorpions and stuff like that. But she becomes a supportive role with her Strike Shot, and with her abilities being viable for a lot of dungeons, and to sweep mines and deal damage to mobs instead of the boss, because that's what her bump combos is. Like Poison Spread Shot is mainly for dealing great damages to bosses, as well as the energy circles, don't really have enough power to deal damage to the boss, but just enough to deal at least half a mob's HP bar. And then showing weakness works well with other strike shots like command strike shot, or like wall bouncing strike shots. Works great with Ashura because her strike shot does require you to hit the weak spot to deal great damages. And of course you can use that blast to hit 2 weak spots at once if they have a small gap between them. So works very, very well. As for uses, not that much in terms of impossibles, but very good for temple dungeons, the fire temple, and then dark temple because of the energy circle and stuff like that. So there are some uses, more supportive role, not really for a carry role, but she is one of the better ones, because I think, in my opinion, monsters nowadays have to have at least 2 null abilities, or 1 good null ability and a very good slayer. So So something like Oda Nobunaga, like the normal one, is really good, really top meta. Whereas something like Oda Nobunaga X is kind of okay. She is strong, but not very like really strong in terms of all the monsters when you compare it to all the monsters in the game. So I think like monsters with 2 null abilities is really strong, and then or 1 null ability and a very common slayer, so kind of like boss slayer ability, so like D18, Fiend, Demon, well not really Demon, but like Fiend, D18 are the main ones, and maybe Mech, but like something like that I think is really meta, something really strong that's really usable in a lot of dungeons, as well as having good potential for future content as well. And the next one, Apollo X, I did kind of bash it a little bit on the blog post, but just because she didn't really improve that much. She was very good in the first place, people just don't really like it. But people just don't really like that, like the one-way laser, because of course Hunter King, and of course Apollo's strike shot doesn't really synergize as well with the one-way laser, but it is a strong one-way laser before, and it's a little bit stronger now. There is some pros and cons between the two, if it's a lock-on and if it's not a lock-on. Some people don't like lock-on one-way lasers, and there are some viable reasons for that, just because you can't really control it that much. You can position for it, but it's like positioning for a normal one-way laser, upward one-way laser, might be a little bit easy for them, as instead of positioning for like the lock-on one-way laser, because you do kind of have to position for it to deal damage to the boss at the end, at the very get-go. But still very good. Becomes a lot better for Yamato Takeru, but like I said in my blog post, does it really replace other no gravity bear wood monsters? That is yet to be seen. I don't really think so. Like, I don't think she can replace like an Odo in terms of Yamato Takeru. I don't think she can replace Hunter King in terms of Yamato Takeru. Of course, probably not Merlin. Well, Merlin and Apollo X have different uses in that dungeon, but I don't think it will be like super top pick. She just kind of goes a little bit on par with those other with no gravity bearing monsters, which in most cases is okay, because not everybody has all those monsters. So if you do have them, it does you'll probably choose the ones that you're most comfortable with, and that is with the Odo and the Hunter King. But for people that don't have all those monsters, then and only have Apollo X, then it is a very nice addition to your box, the Ascend version. Next one is the Oda Nobunaga X, and Oda, the normal Oda, got a very nice improvement. I really love the homing, the meteor destruction, because that 110k meteor does proc with the Slayer, so it does 2 times on the DNT, so it does 2200k onto any DNT boss if it hits her. Of course, it is random, so there is some demerits to that, but once usually the boss is left up the last, so one instant 220k meteor damage onto the boss, as well as just like all the other stuff that you're throwing at them, like with her Slayer in terms of just normal bouncing, other monsters bump combos. It does crazy amounts of damage. Works well with Marishten, like I said in my last podcast, and a lot of other dungeons as well. I think you can put her into every single DNT dungeon except for Izanami. You of course can go for Izanagi. Izanami, you might need carries. She won't be like really effective. She'll be okay effective, because it procs her horizon laser, procs with her with her destruction meteor. So she works that way, but everything else, she's basically like a homing bot, and then like not a homing bot, a bump combo bot, and then she just stays there. She doesn't really help you clear the zombies, so you might have to carry her in terms of those dungeons. But if you play well enough in Izanami, sure, why not? You can bring her. It doesn't make that much of a difference if you know how the dungeon works, and you just bring 2 Margarets and a Napoleon, then that will be probably it for Izanami, it's pretty easy for that for that sense. Next up, Oda Nobunaga X. She didn't get a big improvement, just that her strike shot becomes like Kushinada and Lucifer. I did say in my blog she becomes better in Izanami, but not really top tier. Well, she is a top tier pick already, so but now that there's in JP there's Romeo, Nanami, and there are some like sleepers like Margaret and Napoleon there, she's not really the top pick in that dungeon. So probably in terms of Izanami is not really good, but if you compare with Napoleon, I would probably take Oda X over Napoleon in regular gravity barrier dungeons that are not Dean-Teens. If it's not Dean-Teen boss, I'll probably bring Oda Nobunaga X instead of Napoleon, just because her strike shot requires less effort, and you can aim for pinch places and stuff like that with that strike shot as well, depending on what dungeon you use it on. Something like something like Marie Antoinette, you can use it to pinch onto the last bars or something to that effect, and of course the blast bomb is very, very helpful as well. But that's pretty much it for the JP New Ascensions. Hopefully they'll come out with more in the future. I know a lot of people are waiting for Arthur, are waiting for Alice. There's still trolls waiting for Shumpool, but hopefully in the future they'll add in some more. They'll add into the rest of the non-ascendant monsters, and probably stay away from Mustang, because I don't think fans want like another Independence mishap there. But who knows, maybe they'll make it really, really good. But Mustang is very strong enough already. You can use her even now. I don't think she really needs an ascension. Because she's already good enough, she doesn't really need improving. So just having an ascension might be really bad for her in case that it goes really bad, just like how Independence was, because Independence Ascension was really, really good. Independence Evolve form was really, really good, but the Ascend form got shut down a bit, and then people got angry and was hoping for a really, really OP Independence, but it didn't happen because she was already OP in the beginning. Anyways, next up is that they introduced this week's Monster Strike YouTube video, introduced a new series that will be coming up in July the 2nd, and it's called Arabian Nights Galaxy. So some like Arabian culture there. I don't really know about that story a bit, but I know Aladdin's there, but Aladdin's already out, so they're doing like other monsters that are in there. So like I don't really know the monsters like names. I did spell them. Let's see. Sinbad, Alibaba, Rock, Merida. So same deal, same system. 5 Hatcher monsters, 3 5-stars, 2 4-stars, and then 5 Event Dungeon monsters, 2 5-stars and 3 4-stars. Stats haven't been announced yet. It's coming out next week, so hopefully by next week we will have them very, very soon. And then there will be a new gimmick. They showed a new gimmick that looks like fans. What they do, nobody knows yet. I don't even know yet, so they didn't announce it either as well. So it'll be coming out soon, so hopefully they'll have really good stats. Because lately the new series, have really good uses in terms of dungeons. There's a wide variety of dungeons that they can be used on. Although a lot of people just compare them to Lucifer, which I don't think is the right mindset to go in when you're trying to see if they're really good or not. Is compare it to the dungeons that they're good at. Compared to dungeons that they're good at in terms of with the other monsters, so like except for Lucifer, because nobody wants to just don't compare it to Lucifer. And then but if you compare it to other monsters within that specific dungeon that they're good for, then you can kind of gauge how good that monster is in the overall context. Although it is very hard, it does require some really giant monster strike knowledge. That's why I'm here to analyze it for you, see what's really good, see what's really bad, and then see what's good in terms of this dungeon, this impossible dungeon, this other impossible dungeon. So be sure on the lookout. very very soon, next week for sure, because it is coming out on July the 2nd. I'll probably be doing a blog post and then using the new monsters. If my friends have them, I probably won't be rolling for them, and then just because I'll be doing something else with them. And then of course the extreme monsters, see if they're really worth for like a max lock, if they're really good for in terms of the dungeon, if it's really good for max locking, or their stats are really good for max locking as well. And then, but yeah, that's coming out next week. Hopefully it'll be good. And then yeah, but it does come after the new the Legend series, which just comes every single end of the month. I know a lot of people will be re-rolling for Lucifer, re-rolling for, I don't know, like just starting out a new count and then re-roll for Lucifer and stuff like that. I'm really, sometimes I get tired just seeing people asking when Lucifer is coming for NA and stuff like that, and telling people like Lucifer's OP. No, she's OP, she's really really good, but it gets really tiring, it gets really annoying for me just seeing it like every single on a daily basis. That's why I'm planning on a blog post sometime near in the future and telling you the pros and cons of Lucifer, and see why she is good, she's why is bad, because Lucifer goes beyond the game, in my opinion, just because of her OP-ness. And if you know, like, if you're a really good fan of like games like mobile games that have really good power creep, like power creeping and stuff like that, power creeping is not good for games, and Lucifer is one of those power creeps that are really really bad, that are not really healthy for the game. So I'll probably do some blog posts about that. But if you don't care about that, I just want the most OP monsters, and good for you, just don't talk about it, just don't show it off to people. I know a lot of people will get tired, I get tired, and I'm more of the guys that just don't care if you guys have them. I do have like 20 of them in my friend list, 20 out of like 50 friends already, like Lucifers already, so I know I have good monsters to play with, but just don't like show it off and all that stuff. It gets really really tiring. But why I kind of do that preview is because they will be adding on a new Legend series exclusive monster in JP starting this month. So starting in, I think it should be the 30th or the night of the 29th in Japan, and her name is called Himiko. She is a fire monster, and when I looked at her stats, when I looked at everything, OMG. And is she the next Lucifer? No, she's not. I'm going to say this outright, but she is in that perfect spot where she's really really good but not broken, in my opinion. So that's why I think she's really really good in terms of the overall game context, and of course the overall like health of the game. And I rate her in terms of all the monsters number 2 in terms of Hatcher monsters. If you compare it to like farmables, I think Hakua might be a little bit like, in terms of like just like, because when you compare it with farmables, you start talking about the difficulty level of that dungeon and stuff like that, and maybe Kusha brings it to like number 2 and stuff like that. So in terms of Hatcher monsters, all Hatcher monsters, she is number 2 in my opinion, just under Lucifer. And then number 3 is, for me, is kind of like it's either like Romeo or Napoleon, because Romeo's really really good, very good for his meteor, and then Napoleon is just a good monster to help get beginners started onto their way of getting a really good box. So there's that. So, but I am going to talk about the stats. I'm going to start talking about the not so good form, and I'll start talking about the really really good form. First, the not so good form is the Ascended, and I'll talk about them. So class, Paladin, hit, pierce, type, balance, ability, no gravity barrier, gauge shot of recovery. Max HP is over 22,000. Max attack is 28k with gauge. Max speed is around 300. Strike shot is a command strike shot that is like Roma or Napoleon. So you got to hit. You have to hit your allies to actually make the move. Bump combo, poison spread shot 16, and then sub bump combo, all alternate all attribute homing 10. And I say this because and I told you guys this is not the OP form, and by God that it is really good. And in my opinion, if you have two of them, if you happen to roll two of them, I suggest you go both forms because it's really really good. And Ascend form, this is the Ascend form. If it had some supportive bump combo, like if her bump combo was like a blast or something like that, then I would outright tell you throw your Cleopatras away. And because she is kind of like a half and half, which is really really good, but like she's not really good at support, not like fully good at support when you compare it to like Cleopatra, which has a blast bump. But she does have a bump combo of poison spread. So what that poison spread does, it's like a normal poison spread shot, but it does poison damage. So it does it has 1406 base, and then 30k poison for every turn for 4 turns. So in total, if that monster is still alive, it does 120,000 damage overall at that time. So very very good in my opinion. The only really big knock on her is her speed for a Pierce monster. It is at 300, which is relatively slow when you're comparing to other Pierce monsters, but of course no gravity barrier and a recovery, and relatively high HP for a recovery monster. Most recovery monsters have sub 20k, so like Anubis, Parvati, Cleopatra all have like either around 20k or lower, so very good stats. And like I said, not the OP version. Now let's go for the OP version. So it is the evolved form. So class, paladin, hit, bounce, type, speed, ability, wood slayer, gauge shot, no damage wall, max HP over 27,000, max attack 25k with gauge, max speed 410, strike shot, chain meteor, same as Romeo. So what it does is, for the first enemy hit, it increases its multiplier. It increases by the multiplier. So when you hit the first enemy, you get a 4 times multiplier, and every single enemy you hit after that, it does a plus 14 multiplier. So if you want to compare, Zeus has a 35 multiplier, and if you're using the chain meter like on Himiko, then you just need to hit like 4 enemies to get above 35, if I can calculate correctly. So just hit like 3 or 4, hit 4 guys and you'll get over 35 times multiplier. Of course their attacks are different, so you might need to hit like 5 or 6 to actually go over Zeus's, like 4 or 5 to go over Zeus's actual damage on the meteor, but it's really, really strong. Anyways, same thing, it's the same meteor as Romeo, and Romeo's already number 3 just because of that strike shot. So why isn't she number 2? Why is she not number 2? And then bump combo is EX Laser EL. Same thing, EX Laser EL, same thing as Izanagi. So the power is 12,000. And what I think is really, really OP, of course, the Wood Slayer. But unlike all the other elemental slayers in the game, it is on her ability, not her gauge. So what that means is that her bump combo of EX Laser EL, her 12k bump combo, it procs with her Slayer ability onto like wood monsters, So what that means, you get an 18k, basically an 18k 4-way laser. 4-way, like 4 times 1-way laser, like 4 1-way lasers going in 4 different directions. Although it is kind of hard because it is an EX laser and it's not like a cross laser, which some people might have an easier time to actually hit. But EX laser, very very strong. When you proc that Wood Slayer, it is 18k, and that's the same amount of damage as a normal 1-way laser for farmables. It's not the same as like 1-way lasers for like for like hardship monsters, like it does 24 and up, but it is very very strong. And of course she can eat able berries, so you can use that to bump up her bump combo power as well. So very very strong Himiko. I do want her, And like I said, she is in that very, very nice middle ground where she is really, really good, but not so good that it breaks the game. Because of course, to use her to her full potential is in wood dungeons, and she does have one and only one gimmick, no gimmick. So there are some demerits where there's some dungeons that have zero, like that have more than one gimmick, like Marishten that has mines and stuff like that. So maybe she's not 100% viable for everything, unlike Lucifer, which is basically 70 to like 80% viable for like every single dungeon in the whole freaking game. She's really good for, she's like 100% viable for like wood dungeons with damage walls or like something like that. But even if it's just normal damage wall dungeons, her chain meteor strike shot is strong enough to deal really good damage. Unlike and then her bump combo does really good damage as well, just off of base bump with 12k. Unlike Roma, which does have a really weak bump combo, she one ups Roma in terms of damage on her strike shot, and of course damage on the bump combo. Of course, they have different abilities in terms of the null ability, so you can't really compare like which one you'll take over another, because you'll probably be taking, if you have both of them, you'll probably take you'll probably take Roma for Kusinada and then Himiko for Marishten, and then do it that way. You probably won't be saying like, I'll bring Himiko to Kusinada just because she's like rated higher than Roma. Roma's still the OP monster for Kusinada, and Himiko can't even take that away from him. Just like how you can't really use Roma over Himiko because Himiko is safer, although you can kind of use Roma in Marishten and stuff like that. But you can't really compare it that way. So if you have Himiko or Roma, it's very different. And then of course the newer the wood descents are mainly damage wall based, so like Portuguese, PCG3, I don't know what other wood months, Basilisk, they all have damage walls. So basically a good damage wall, basically really meta, very current, because lately Roma has been saying in my box lately, because all the wood descents have damage walls in them, and then I don't feel safe bringing him there, although you kind of can, but it makes your life a bit harder. But that is Himiko. She's coming up right after, like in this month's Legend series, and then she's very, very good in my opinion. But that's it for me in the podcast. Hear me a little rant about stuff, and like thanking you for the stream. Of course, I'll be streaming on Sunday. Just to remind you, I will be putting up links for a line group, and of course, my expectation for that stream is to help you guys have fun with the game and to meet new strikers as well, because there's a lot. And another main reason is to close the gap, especially the communication gap between the very good advanced level strikers with the very beginner strikers. Kind of close that gap a little bit in terms of communication, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you would probably help out if you can, in terms of advanced people, but you really are not inclined to actually join in a line group or a group of beginners, just because they're not as skilled as you, and you probably are busy in terms of farming other things. So that's why I want to make this opportunity for you guys, for the advanced guys, to talk about the game, to help teach the game to beginners, or to just have fun. I'll be there as well to teach new players as well. And of course, new players, be sure to at least have a 6-star monster in your box. It doesn't have to be max plus. At least as long as it's max level, I think it'll be fine, as long as the gimmicks works out for you. Even if it doesn't, you can get your striker bonuses if you haven't done that already, which is very crucial into making your box better, because you do get orbs from that. And of course Dream Shards, the savage level dungeon. The Vidron dungeon is not that hard, so you can bring like Jabanero in there as well, and then you can have your fellow strikers bring in like really good monsters to help you out and stuff like that. So that's it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe to this podcast, and hope to see you next week. So I'll see you next time. Bye.